When you start becoming 1% better every day, 1% gets easier and easier and easier, and then it becomes subconscious. You don't think about putting your next foot forward in real life when you're walking because you've done it so much that it's now a habit.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Return on Investment MF channel. It's your host, Zack, ROI Williams, and this is the information your haters don't want you to hear about. Becoming the most badass version of yourself in business.
What's going on, everybody? It's Zack ROI Williams back with another episode of Return on Investment MF channel. Now, I'm not going to say like I do every time that I'm really excited about this because I started to notice that there was a repetition there. But I will say that I am pumped to bring you this episode because I'm on like a winner's high, if you will, right? I just got back from Cabo with not only my mentor, Ryan Stewman, but Ryan Stewman's mentors, his coaches, Bobby Castro, Keith Craft, and just had the opportunity of being around them in a real intimate setting and just get to soak up all the information that they were pouring into us, essentially. And it was funny because multiple times I had different people come up to me after each of the breakout room sessions, and they were like, dude, those were phenomenal questions. They were like, we really appreciated your outlook on the way you asked your question, what it meant to you, and how we could probably apply that to our lives, even though we're different peoples in different steps of our journey and all that. And my answer every time was, I came here for a reason. Like, I came here to be educated. I came here to be, if you hear me, I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times, my goal is to be the most coachable person in any given room, right? If I am not in a room where I cannot learn from you, I'm in the wrong rooms. Now, for my opinion, that doesn't always necessarily mean you've got to be the poorest person in the room or the least far along, I genuinely believe that I can learn something from almost anyone. Now, the catch here, is sometimes it's what not to do. You know what I mean? Like the lesson that I can derive from people saying that I can learn from anyone, you'd be like, could you learn from a crackhead? Honestly, probably, but the most important thing I'm going to learn is don't be a fucking crackhead. So I don't make it a habit to be around. You'll notice the people that I do not spend any time with is toxic people. I already learned that lesson, right? I've already been around the narcissists. I've already been around the toxic people. I've already been in toxic relationships, both in what should have been a romantic relationship as well as a business relationship. So if you see me, like if these people are liars, cheaters, scumbags, scammers, you name it, no, I'm not going to stay in a room with them. But if we are all on the same path, and just because I'm a few years further along or make a few $100,000 or a few $1 million more than someone else does not necessarily mean that I don't necessarily need to be in that room. I'm not here to say that I'm better than anyone or anything like that. So I'm always looking for an opportunity to be coached. Sometimes that is what not to do. And those, as y'all know, are lessons more valuable to me, in my opinion, than the winning. But anyways, I digress. My prime purpose for being on this trip was to listen to the type of quality of people that my mentors are, right? So this gave me an opportunity to ask some high-level questions. And like my comment was, I came there for a reason. I came there to learn stuff. So as they commented, I was not going to waste time asking my questions, getting my thought-provoking, questions answered, and things that ultimately were, very, very impactful to what is going to be my success. I've already made a good enough foundation for myself, my family, my business, my employees, and, my future currently, but you can always be better. So what better way to learn from, a billionaire and a multi-millionaire, one that owns a $50 million asset that he built from the ground up. Like, These people are put in my life for a reason. And mind you, they're only put in your life if you take action, right? So this opportunity came up, and I did not hesitate. I jumped on it. It was something that I knew that I needed not only my life, my life with my wife, my life with my daughter, and my life with my employees and things of that nature. So I was ready to be coached. I was ready to be a sponge to soak up all this information. Now, the key to this lesson, and this episode is going to be about taking immediate action, not just taking action, but taking immediate action. And the reason I wanted to hit on this is because here I am the first day back, and I was like, oh, man, I can sleep in. Traveling this weekend really took it out of me, especially international travel with multiple, air rides, things of that nature. I knew I was going to be tired. I knew I was going to have every excuse available to be like, bro, you can sleep in, just sleep in until it's time to take Lottie to school, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, absolutely not, man. Absolutely not. I've got too much of a fire burning inside of me from all this information that I've received. And if I put it off and slept in today, I wouldn't have time to take immediate action, which meant it would have had to been pushed to tomorrow. Guess what? Tomorrow has its own set of priorities and problems. So then tomorrow comes around, and you know what? Let's push that off again. And then you've got the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and then all of a sudden it's 3 years down the road, and you never took action. So for me, from such high-level quality content and information and even one-on-one, I literally left that event with contact information from, Keith Craft, Bobby Castro, and it just, to have some of their personal numbers means the world to me that they believed in me enough to put themselves out there and make themselves available to me whenever that I needed them. Now, that comes with a price. That price is being that fucking person that they believed you were. And the person that they believed I am is someone that's willing to take immediate action. So the first thing I did when I woke up this morning was literally started implementing what they taught us. And it's been such a weight off my shoulders to not only have those tasks completed, but knowing I am that motherfucker. Knowing that I am someone that does what I say I'm going to do when I say I'm going to do it and takes immediate action on shit that is going to be life-changing. I don't want to put any of their personal information out there because, like I said, they shared a lot of that within our community and within that intimate setting. So that is my information to hold and everyone else that was on that trip. But some of this y'all can look up. Look up some of their net worth. Look at some of what their portfolios look like. Like I said, Bobby Castro has a $750 million real estate investment portfolio. Keith Craft has a $50 million asset that he's in control of that he built from the ground up. These people are very, very instrumental in not only the business world, but also I'm going to take it a step further out and say out of their marriages and their relationships, because that's a big portion of what this was about, was getting a stronger, foundation in your marriage. And ultimately, too, some of the most education I got was getting Josh Craft, his perspective as being the son of someone that is so successful and is so wealthy and has so much going on. And, so that I was able to apply to my daughter's life. And, coming to the conclusion that the foundation of a lot of this stuff was stability, but also it required people that are willing to do the work. And for me, I didn't have time to wait. I didn't have time to sit around and wonder what was going on. I didn't have time to question whether or not the information these guys were giving us was legitimate. So what did I do? I woke up and got straight to work. I literally have a checklist. I have pages of notes from this weekend. And I literally just started checking them off. Boom, 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 taking that immediate action. Not only do I feel better, but I genuinely can see that what I did this morning is changing my future. If you could have this viewfinder into the future of what your future is going to look like in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 6 years, 12 years, 15 years from now, and you could do an action today and watch how that is either going to benefit you or hurt you in the future, how do you think you would start developing your habits now, taking immediate action now, all these positive things? Sometimes it's not fun work. It takes a certain type of person to be willing to take immediate action. But if you said, hey, man, if I did this now, 10 years from now, it looks like this, point A. Or if I put this off another day, another week, another month, another year, that same person I was supposed to be in 10 years, what's that plan B look like because I put it off? How detrimentally, is that going to hurt me? We start looking at compound interest. Everyone hears about compound interest when it comes to investing and all this. What about the compound interest within your life, right? If I come 1% better today, and I continue getting 1% better, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, versus putting it off, 0% better today, 0% better tomorrow. Negative 1% the following day. Then maybe it leads to negative 1% the following day. Maybe it leads to a negative 2%, a negative 3%. In my personal opinion, it is much, 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 much easier to go backwards at that negative 1, negative 2%, negative 3%, negative 10%, negative 20%. Day in, day out, than it is to get 1% better tomorrow, 2% better, 3%, 4%. For me, I'd rather just focus on 1% better today, 1% better tomorrow, 1% better the next. And that's going to help prevent those negative 4%, those negative 5%. You just focus on putting one step in front of the other. And I want you to know that the first thing to consider there is immediate action. You have to take that step. You have to put that next foot forward. You have to make sure you're on solid ground. Take that next step. Make sure that's sturdy before you can take that next step. But that's immediate action, putting that foot forward. A lot of times we don't think about taking that next step. It's so ingrained in our brain because we've taken that immediate action. Place that step in front of you. Place the next step in front of you, so on and so forth. Well, guess what? When you start becoming 1% better every day, 1% gets easier and easier and easier, and then it becomes subconscious. You don't think about putting your next foot forward in real life when you're walking because you've done it so much that it's now a habit. So, learning to take that immediate action helps you create these habits that's going to change your life forever. But if you never take that next step, it's never going to come to fruition. That's why when I came home and I woke up this morning, I didn't think about it. I just fucking did it. Because I know that if I had that viewfinder 10 years from now that showed my life what it was going to look like, that 10-year version of Zack, if I did that action today, first thing when I woke up, versus if I put it off tomorrow, what's that 10-year Zack look like? If I put that off next week, now what does that 10-year Zack look like? If I put it off 1 month, who's that 10-year Zack? That 1 year, who's that 10-year Zack? Now you start to see how detrimental taking immediate action is. Thinking now, not, in the future, I'm too busy to do this. Look, I get it. Priorities are priorities. But what are your priorities? Have you prioritized your priorities? Because some of us might just be spinning our wheels and getting nowhere, just running around in circles because we're trying to do busy work. Versus, if I do the busy work now, I could have that full slate. I could have this full workload. But me being who I am would cause me to put off this immediate action that I just got poured into me by my mentor as well as my mentor's mentors, and then it gets pushed off to the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and all of a sudden, that 10-year Zack starts looking worse and worse and worse and worse. But now I know that the work that I did today, based off the information I just received, that I have a billionaire and one of the, in my opinion, one of the best people I've ever fucking met, tell me what to do, who am I to question them? They're in a position that all of us would be willing to trade. Now, I'm not saying change lives with them. I don't want to be 62 years old right now. But you know what? I love the path that he's been on. I've loved the things he's done. I've loved hearing how his life has changed dramatically. But his life never would have changed if he never took action. And his life may never have gotten him to where he is at 62 years if he had not taken that immediate action. The results that he's seeing at 62, if he hadn't taken immediate action, maybe he would have saw him at 72. Who knows, maybe at 82. Possibly at 92. But now is it too late? You see what I'm saying? I could have put all this off. My personal life would have suffered. My marriage would have suffered. My relationship with my daughter would have suffered. My business would have suffered. My employees would have suffered. My affiliates and sales, everyone would suffer under me. And they all would have suffered at my hand because I was not willing to take immediate action. I decided to sleep in one more day. And then that leads to having a busy day, a busy week, a busy month, a busy year. Now 10 years Zack isn't seeing those results until 20 years Zack. How detrimental is adding an additional decade onto what your goals, your hopes and dreams look like? Because that's what you're doing when you put them off. You know what to do. You're just being fucking lazy. Being fucking lazy is a choice. Right before I went on this trip, actually, it's funny. So, I'm speaking about today, about the day back, right? It's easy. So much travel, international travel, flying commercial, flying private, like all this. Oh my God, it was just so much. I could sleep in just two extra hours. But no, I did the fucking work. Simultaneously, the day before I flew, or the day of flying out, I knew it was going to be busy. Y'all know me. Y'all know I fucking hate flying. It is an emotional roller coaster for me. Anxiety's through the roof. I'm wild. I'm a wild man on flying days. And I knew that. I know that. I know my personality. I know who I am. So the day that we were flying out of the country, I could have literally slept in and been like, I'm just trying to consume as much energy, hold all this in, enjoy that bed, enjoy my wife. What's it hurt to sleep in the day that we're flying out? And as my alarm went off, I was sitting there allowing that fucking voice to try and talk me into sleeping in. And there was a thought process that came through my head. I have literally never once regretted the day that I woke up early and got to work, or woke up early and went to the gym. Every time I've completed a task, every time I've left the gym, if I've woken up, you know what? I might be tired. A lot of times I'm more energized because I feel accomplished. I feel successful. But regardless, every time I've left the gym or completed that task because I woke up early instead of sleeping in, I never regretted it. There has been times in my past, though, where I have hit the snooze button, or I have changed my alarm time, and I have slept in extra. And most times, more times than not, when it was time for me to finally wake up, I regretted the decision I made. So the day the day before that we flew out for this event, my alarm went off. That voice in my head, it's like, bro, it's cool, man. It's going to be a hard day on you. You deserve it. You've worked hard to get to where you're at. You're about to go enjoy a phenomenal trip with your wife in Cabo in Mexico, staying in mansions, flying private, eating like kings and queens. It's cool. You made it, bro. But as that thought process was going through my mind, I was like, you know what? I could, but I've never regretted waking up early. And that day I went to the gym. So I have never regretted waking up early and going to work out and leaving the gym and be like, fuck, you fucking idiot. What did you just do? Never once. And that thought process alone was what got me the fuck out of bed. And that getting me out of bed led to a 10-year better Zack versus a worse 10-year Zack. If I had hit that snooze button, if I had slept in, if I had allowed those excuses, that voice to fucking take over. Guys, I hope this helped. My name is Zack ROI. I'm fucking pumped to bring you this episode about taking immediate action. I hope you do too. We'll talk to you soon. Peace. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video at all or got anything else out of it, please check out these videos over here. They're going to be right in line with what you just saw.